The Indian king who defeated Alexander's army in 326 BC, the world's most feared conqueror. Alexander the Great crossed the Indus River, believing nothing could stop. He had crushed the Persian Empire, stormed through Babylon, and marched unbeaten across thousands of miles. But in the heat and rain of India, one man, a tall, fearless king named Porus, stood in his path. What followed wasn't just a battle. It was the day Alexander met his match. By the time Alexander reached the Indian subcontinent, he was only 30 years old, yet already a legend. His army had conquered from Greece to Egypt, Persia, and beyond. His goal, to reach the ends of the world and the great outer sea. But the land beyond the Indus River was unlike anything his men had seen. The monsoon rains drenched the soil, tropical heat drained their strength, and news spread of massive armies led by powerful local kings. Among them was King Porus, ruler of the region between the Jhelum and Chenab rivers in what is now Punjab, Pakistan. Porus belonged to the Paurava dynasty, descendants of ancient Indian warrior clans. Greek historians described him as standing over 6 feet tall, commanding an army of trained infantry, swift cavalry, and most terrifying of all, war elephants. When Alexander's scouts reached Porus's territory, they brought back alarming news. The Indian king had assembled tens of thousands of troops along the banks of the Hydaspes river, what we now call the Jhelum. It was early summer, and the river was swollen with monsoon floods. Crossing it under enemy watch seemed impossible, but Alexander was a master strategist. Under cover of darkness, he led part of his army upstream, 25 miles away, where the river narrowed. There, on a stormy night, he crossed with selected troops, infantry, cavalry, and a few warriors. Porus, though alert, was momentarily deceived by Alexander's diversionary tactics. But when dawn broke, he realized what had happened and marched his army to the invaders. The two forces met on the plains near the river. Porus's army stood tall. Historians estimate 30,000 infantry, 4,000 cavalry, 300 chariots, and over 200 war elephants. Each elephant carried warriors on its back and acted as a living tank, capable of crushing men and horses alike. Alexander's Macedonian army, though smaller, was battle-hardened and disciplined. He placed his cavalry on the wings and his phalanx, long spears and shields, at the center. The clash was brutal. The elephants charged first, trumpeting and shaking the ground, scattering Macedonian horses in panic. The Greek historian Arrian wrote that many of Alexander's soldiers were trampled underfoot or gored by tusks. But Alexander adapted quickly. His archers targeted the elephants' eyes and drivers, while his cavalry encircled Porus's flanks. Despite the tactical brilliance, Alexander's men had never faced such ferocity. Porus fought on horseback, commanding fearlessly in the thick of the chaos. When his horse was killed beneath him, he mounted an elephant and continued fighting. Refusing to surrender, the battle raged 4 hours under torrential rain. When finally Porus was wounded and surrounded, Alexander called off the attack. When Porus was brought before Alexander, bleeding yet unbowed, the conqueror asked him a question that would echo through history. "How do you wish to be treated?" Porus, tall and proud, despite his injuries, replied, "Treat me as a king would treat another king." Alexander was deeply impressed. According to Arrian and Cutius Rufus, he not only spared Porus's life, but reinstated him as ruler, and even granted him more territory to govern under Macedonian alliance. For the first time, Alexander recognized that brute conquest alone could not secure loyalty to India. Porus had earned his respect not just as an opponent, but as a sovereign equal. The Battle of the Hydaspes, fought in May 326 BC, became one of Alexander's hardest-won victories, and his last major battle. Though technically a win for Alexander, it came at a massive cost. His army was exhausted, many officers killed, and his troops were horrified by the elephants and the endless rain. When Alexander proposed advancing deeper into India, his men refused. They wanted to go home. After years of blood and conquest, the army mutinied at the Hydaspes River, modern Bs, refusing to march further east. Alexander, reluctantly, turned back his dream of conquering India. Left unfulfilled, historians often note that it was Porus's resistance that broke the myth of Alexander's invincibility. Porus continued to rule his kingdom for many years afterward, respected even by the Macedonians. His victory wasn't just on the battlefield. It was in defending his sovereignty and earning his enemy's admiration. Centuries later, Indian chroniclers and Greek historians alike remembered Porus as a symbol of royal dignity, courage. Even Plutarch, writing hundreds of years later, said no Indian king ever gave Alexander such a fight as Porus did. In the end, Alexander, the man who had conquered Persia, Egypt, and Babylon, met not just an opponent, but Porus showed him that true kingship isn't measured by how many lands you take, but by how you stand your ground when the world's greatest army comes for you. The battlefield at the Jalem still whispers their story to kings. Face to face, warriors from worlds apart. And the day when India made Alexander the Great stop and turn back.